Shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. I'd like to also give double honors to all the elders, apostles, teachers, and leaders who came before me that set this groundwork so that brothers like myself and other brothers can come into the truth and be able to teach our people. I also like to give a mighty shalom out to my brothers in IGT Cincinnati. A mighty shalom out to you brothers and also the sisters there and the families. I'm Brother Aaron from IGT, Ghana, and I just want to do a class on the signs of the time. It's going to be a quick, brief class. Just going to hit a couple of precepts, just kind of talk about some things. But I'm sure there's a lot we could talk about. But first precept I want to go into is Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. So let's go to Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. And it reads, "Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have also obeyed, not as in much my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." And that saying right there at the end, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, that comes with a whole lot. It comes with putting away a lot of things, putting away certain people, just taking all things out of your life that'll distract you from keeping the law, statutes, and commandments with the belief on a Mashiach Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So you got to just kind of remove all those things. Let me read verse 13. It says, "For it is God which worketh in you, both to will and to do of good pleasure." Good meaning in Romans chapter 9. Good is talking about the commandments. It's a little hot over here in Ghana. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about, signs of the times, is we all thinking we getting ready to deal with, let's say, what's going on in the Babylon the Great, aka America. What's going on here in West Africa, you know what I'm saying, the land of Canaan. No, the first war you're going to be dealing with is self. You're going to be dealing with yourself. So we can talk about what's going on in the world and how that's affecting your life, but the honest thing is you got to start with yourself first. And that's a battle that you're going to fight your whole life, you understand? You're not going to fight that battle one day, next week. No, you're going to fight that battle until the day you die, because you're in a corrupt body. And like it says in 1 Corinthians, when we get those other bodies, 1 Corinthians 15, then we won't have to do that anymore. But right now, we got to endure until the end. So let's get Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. Go to the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. All right. And it reads, it says, "Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth." Self-explanatory. "For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God." So what do you mean by dead? I mean, you dead to this world. Meaning you're not out here trying to please men. You're not out here trying to please organizations or your mother, your father. You're not really trying to please them. You're trying to please the Most High. Just by you living and doing the commandments and keeping His will, the Most High show favor, and that's how you please everybody. All right. Okay, let's get verse 4. "When Amashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall we also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members, which are upon the earth." Talking about your body parts, you understand? It says, "Fornication, uncleanliness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry." So, these are things that we fall into in a sinful nature, things that we deal with. And Most High God said we got to try to mortify, meaning put away these things, right? And these are not only it, this is just a few of them. But fornication, uncleanliness, inordinate affection, you know what I'm saying? That's going into like over-sexualization, you know what I'm saying? And covetousness, that's one of the big things. You look at something that somebody has, you say, "I want that." That's not what it is. You should be, if you got a mean cottage, a small house, be proud of that. Be thanking the Most High that you in something. You know what I'm saying? Because a day may come where you got all these things in this world and then you may fall. But what are you going to do when you fall? Are you going to still pray? So pray harder when you have these things. The Most High is actually allowing us to have these things. So we must give all honor and glory to the Most High every single day. All right, let's get it. Verse 6, it says, for which things sakes the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience, in which ye also walked sometimes when ye lived in them. See, we were obedient, meaning we didn't keep the commandments. We didn't have the spirit of the law inside of us. We just walked according to our own will, or according to the doctrines that we were taught through slavery and colonialism by who? AKA Esau, the so-called white man, right? But today we walk in according to righteousness, which is the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, verse 8, but now ye also put off these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds. Verse 10, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. The image of Mashiach Yahushua is talking about who created him? The Father, man, which is in Daniel 7, verse 10. We talking about Yahweh, the Most High God of Mashiach Yahushua, ultimately the Most High God of Israel as well. All right, so the war, let's keep going. Let's go Romans chapter 5. We're going to speed it up. Romans 5 and verse 12. Romans chapter 5 and verse 12. Like I said, a war starts within you. Though you can look outside and you thinking like, hey, these things are coming up on the earth, which they are coming up on the earth. But the first thing that we begin to do is we start with self. You understand? We start with keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God first. That alleviates all other things. So by you keeping the commandments, you doing right to your brother, to your neighbors, and you looking up on your enemies, praying and hoping for their downfall, praying for the kingdom to come, the prayer that we always pray. You understand? Okay. Let's get Romans chapter 5 and verse 12. And it reads, wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned. So if you run into any man in these last days that tell you he does not sin, run from him. You understand? Run from him. Be far from him. You run into any man, say he got 100% truth, run from him. We don't have time to play these games anymore. We're in the last days. Everybody is subjected to sin. All men have sinned. You can get that in 1 Kings chapter 8, right? And we reading it right here. So through sin, sin entered through the world through Adam. We born with that inside of us. That's an extra spirit that we have inside of us when we're born. So even though we have the Holy Spirit, I'm going to read that later because Paul spoke of it. So just remember, sin came into the world. And what is sin? Let's go ahead and get that real quick. Because some of y'all Christians may be watching this. You don't even know what sin is. You just think of sin, maybe like, oh, I said a curse word. You don't even know what a curse word is. Curse word is something totally different. Just because I said bitch or F-U or MF, I'm just not going to say that like that on here because I don't speak that way. But those are not curse words. A curse is like something like I say, I hope you go outside and lightning strike you in the name of the Most High. You understand? That's a curse word. Or those are cursings. All right. Let's go to 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Let's see what sin is real quick. And it reads, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. This is basically point blank and simple. Sin is basically breaking God's commandments. There ain't no other thing to it. If you don't know what the law is and you ain't been keeping the law, guess what? You in sin. All right. Let's go to Romans chapter 7 now, verse 15. Still talking about that war we dealing with. We talking about signs of the times, right? But the signs of the time actually begin with you. Begins with you, inside of your heart, which is your mind here. What you going to do? What you thinking about on a daily basis, right? How you conducting yourself according to the laws that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob gave the Israelites, right? How are you keeping those commandments? Are you following those laws? Are you not eating pork? or or women not wearing pants, you know what I'm saying? Or we not committing fornication, or we not breaking the Sabbath, committing adultery, covetousness, you know what I'm saying? Going into all the laws that we don't even know. We just say, oh, the law done away with, we under grace. Well, I show you my law while I'm under grace. You understand? Because I know the law is what's gonna save you. All right? So let's get it. It's getting hot out here. Hold on. Romans chapter 7, verse 15. And it reads, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. Now, this is Paul speaking about himself, right? And it's really pertaining to all of us that are in the spirit. Even if you in the spirit, you in the truth. This pertains to you as well. Watch this. Verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, meaning I don't want to do it, right? But I do it. I consent unto the law that is good, right? Now then it is more that I do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. See that? You understand? Verse 18. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, in this body right here, right? It says, dwelleth no good thing. Because that's the war that we're fighting every day. We're fighting against ourselves. Fighting against that spirit that was inside of us since Adam when he fell. That sinful spirit. That other spirit that be calling out on you on the left side. You know, on the left-hand side. You know what I'm saying? All right. It says, verse 19, for the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. This is crazy. You see what I'm saying? Verse 20. Now, if I do that, I would not. Salakia. Now, if I do that, I would not. It is no more that I do it, but sin dwelleth in me. I find then a law that I would do good. Evil is present with me. So it doesn't matter. All the things that you're doing in this life, remember, evil is always with you. What is evil? Other spirits. Everybody has different spirits upon them. Everybody. Even the brothers and sisters in the truth, you understand? Some are dealing with, let's say you have a gluttonous spirit. You like to eat a lot, you understand? You understand that? You got some brothers still dealing with sexual, let's say, over-sexualization. We got brothers dealing with all types of things, you understand? So everybody has different spirits. Some people don't have to deal with that. You know, we have brothers coming into the truth, right, that have dealt with so many things in the world for so many years, like smoking, drinking, gambling, you know, being a whoremonger. These things come back. They come back sevenfold when you're in the truth. Meaning when you're in the truth, no, you come into dealing with temptations, preparing yourself for tribulation and temptation when you actually come into the truth. You got to prepare yourself. Let's read Matthew 24, though, in verse 13. Let's go to Matthew 24:13. So there's always hope. So even if you slip and fall, because a righteous man, he'll fall 7 times, but guess what? He won't stay there on, meaning he won't continue to fall. He'll pick himself back up. That means he'll look at himself, repent, and start keeping the commandments righteously again. You understand? So let's get Matthew 24 and verse 13. And it reads, Matthew 24:13 says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So look, even though you're in the truth, you're going to come into a whole lot in the truth. You understand? You're going to deal with a whole lot. You're going to have things come your way. You're going to have Satan and other people coming at you, meaning testing your spirit. How are you going to deal with another brother? If he get a brother yell at you or get loud at you, or you going to attack him, or you going to get upset at him, or are you going to simply be calm and be like Hamashiach Yahushua? Rebuke the brother and keep it moving. You understand? Rebuke that evil spirit that's in him. So you got to endure until the end. That's the end of your life, or until Hamashiach Yahushua returns. So yes, you're going to fall sometime. Like I said, any brother or sister telling you they have not sinned no more, they don't sin, you better run from them. They're lying to you. Because even the thoughts, even if you think something, you've sinned. All right, we're going to go to the Apocrypha, all right? The Apocrypha right here. If you're a Christian, you ain't never seen this before. These are the 16 books that was removed from the KJV 1611, okay? They were removed by the white boy, Caucasian. Whether you call them Dutch, Irish, British, American, they removed it. while we were in slavery. So we go into Second Esdras. This is the Greek captivity, by the way. We go into Second Esdras chapter 9, okay? Second Esdras, which will be Ezra in the Bible, chapter 9, and we're going to read verse 5 to 13. And it reads, "For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." See, even now, the beginning came, right? Adam sinned. He brought sin into the world. Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, came back and died for the nation of Israel and gave us a way. He's the propitiation between us and the Most High God. So God, the Most High God, which is Yahweh, now is bringing the Israelites back in. We have a way to get back in. How? Through a Mashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Christ. Because the Most High God had cast us away. But now, Christ is back. So let me read that again. Second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 5. It says, "For like all that is made," right, "in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifesting." How is it manifesting? It's manifesting through all the nations coming together. Donald Trump, now he's building a golden dome. It's manifesting itself even in us, right? We're going to continue on. Verse 6, "Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved," listen closely. Verse 7, "And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works." By his what? By his works. "And by faith." You hear that? By works and faith. "Whereby ye shall believe." You got to have both, man. You just can't say, "I have faith." Show me your faith. How you gonna have faith in something you ain't keeping? I don't see what you look. You looking like a whore out here, right? You got on skinny bikini. "I believe in Jesus. I got faith in Christ." Well, you haven't kept one commandment, because you say the Old Testament is done away with. That's what your wicked pork chop bush meeting pastors teach you. But the Old Testament, Christ said, "I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me." Malachi 3 and 6, the Lord said he don't change. So if he said it in the old, it's in the new. You just got to get a proper understanding from a brother or a sister that's an Israelite. More likely the brothers, because we the teachers, we the sheep, or we the one who leading the pastors. Okay. Anyway, let's get back. Let's read verse. Let's read verse 8. It says, Second Esdras chapter 9, verse 8. It says, "Shall be preserved from said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them from the beginning." So if you keep the commandments and you have faith on the Mashiach Yahushua, when he returns, we're going to go back to the land and we're going to be safe in the borders, meaning he's going to save us. That's the salvation you read about in Luke chapter 1, verse 68 down to 72 for the nation of Israel, right? Okay, verse 9. "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways." What does that mean? You haven't kept his commandments. And it says, "And they have cast them away despitefully, shall dwell in torments." Meaning when the end come, those who haven't kept the Most High God commandments of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel, you're going to be in torments. Meaning you're going to suffer, right? And that's happening right now. Verse 11. Wait, it says, verse 10, "For such as in their life have received benefits," right? "And have not known me." Verse 11, "And they that have loathed my law," meaning they that have hated God's commandments, right? Saying the law done away with. You know what I'm saying? Creflo Dollar and his followers, TD Fakes and his followers, and all of them, right? It says, while they yet had liberty," meaning grace, "and when it was yet placed of repentance was open unto them," meaning in this lifetime, "understood not." You don't understand what's going on, Christians, right? "But despised it." You despise keeping the Sabbath. You despise keeping the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You despise keeping Pentecost or first fruits. You don't know anything. You understand? And this is the problem we're dealing with as black, so-called black men and women, Hispanic men and women, Native American men and women, and all those scattered around the world in all these nations. We fail to keep God's commandments with faith on the Mashiach. All right. Verse 12. Check it out. "The same must know it after death by pain." Now, if you're watching this video, please Understand what God is saying. You're gonna know it after death by pain. What does that mean? After you die, you get regenerated. That's something that's gonna happen to you if you're not keeping God's commandments, right? All right, verse 13. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. And that's what we're talking about. When is the righteous going to be created? So I'm going to go back to Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12 one more time. Philippians, chapter 2. Get that. Where you at? Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. One moment. Okay. Here it is. And it reads, wherefore, my beloved, okay, as ye have always obeyed, not in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So, signs of the times, right? The first thing we got to do is work out our own salvation, man, in fear and trembling. That starts with mortifying the members in our body, getting away from filthy conversations, doing everything you can possibly do, right, to build yourself up each and every day in these commandments. Whether that be with the sister over here, or if the sister over here acting funny, you say, nah, I gotta put that away and find you another sister over here. It's not good to be alone. But in these last days, you got to do everything you possibly can do to work out your own salvation. Don't uplift another man. You understand? Don't uplift another woman. Everybody's on the same level in this truth. Now, you got leaders in this truth. You got teachers in this truth. You got doormen in this truth. You got cookers in this truth. You understand? Everybody. You got people that do a lot of charity in this truth. But we all one body. We got to remember that. So work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. That's number one in the signs and end of times. Now we're going to run into Daniel 4 and 17. I'm going to get into something else. It's going to be quick too. And I'm not going to really have to explain anything. I think anybody watching this video going to already know what we're talking about. All right, let's get Daniel 4 and 17. And it reads, because this is what's going on right now in the signs of the times. It says, this is the matter of decree. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, talking about the angels, right? And the prophets of Israel, right? It says, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men. So Donald Trump is a base man. You understand? This man has not served 1 ounce of military duty in his life. He has ran companies and businesses into the ground. He's an idiot. He doesn't talk correctly. I mean, Donald Trump is what God has set up over Babylon the Great in these last days, the basis of men. Now, I'm going to show you something that's happening right now. Real time. Let's go to Revelation 17. And I'm going to try to break it down. Try not to go too far into it, but we're going to read it, right? Revelation 17, verse 1, it says, and there came one of the 7 angels, which had 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, and I will show unto thee judgment of the great whore that sitteth before many waters. The great whore is talking about America. What does waters mean? Let me get that. Let's get Revelations chapter, let me see. Is it 14 and 12? Let me see. Been a minute. Okay. Don't worry about it. But I'm going to get away from it. But the waters is talking about nations and people, right? And we know America has bases all over the world, thousands of them. And she's on many waters, right? Let's get back there. Verse 2. And it says, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Talking about her doctrine, her philosophy, her diplomacy. you know what I'm saying, or democracy, whatever you want to call it. Every nation is drunk with that. All right. It says, so he carried me away into the wilderness, right? Let me drop down to verse 4. And the woman that was arrayed in purple and scarlet, colored and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations, right? And full of her fornications. What woman is that? Look at verse 5. And upon her forehead, a name written, mystery, because a lot of Christians don't know. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. We're going to see who Babylon the Great is right now. Go to Psalms 137, verse 7. Go to Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. Right. So let's see who Babylon the Great is right now. It says, Psalms 137, verse 7 says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof, meaning tear it down. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee that hath served thee. So, in the spirit, King David, in the spirit of the Most High God, told him that the nation of Edom, a.k.a. the Caucasian, a.k.a. the Jewish man, the France, German, Holland, Poland, you know, the European, the Caucasian. He is the nation of Edom. She is the nation of Edom. The red man, according to Genesis 25:25, the first came out red. That's what the first existence of the so-called Caucasian man, which is our brother, but not anymore. Right? He is the devil that the Bible speaks of, the deceiver, the accuser of his brethren. That's what he does day and night to the so-called black men, right? But it says, let's go back to Revelation 17. It says, upon her head, a name written. It said, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, right? And it says, and abominations of the earth. Let me get down to it. Let me see here. Let's jump to verse 16, right? That's verse 15, right? And it says, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, this is what I was trying to get earlier, where the whore sitteth, which is in verse 1, that says she sat up on many waters, right? It's okay, verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, multitude, nations, and tongues. As we said, America has bases all over the earth, on every continent, on almost every nation on the earth. America, aka Babylon, Mystery Babylon the Great, the whore, right, has a base. She's sitting on many waters, on many people, many nations, right? Verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right? The beast had 10 horns. The 10 horns is the European Union, the 10 common markets. Now there's more today, but when it initially started, there were 10 common markets, right? Luxembourg, France, Germany, the European Union. I'm not going to get into all those names right now, but that's who it's talking about, Europe, right? And it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. It says the Europeans, the so-called France, Germany, Spain, Russia, all them over there, they going to hate the whore. The whore, the mystery, the whore is aka America. Babylon the Great. That's the daughter of Babylon, which is America, which was that nation that came out of the seven, right? We have to get into another class, right? But it's talking about the whore is going to be hated by the 10 horns. How is that happening today in real time? Well, Donald Trump has set up tariffs on everybody, but on Europe. He got a 50% tariff on them. Now all the nations are bucking up against Donald Trump, not just Europe, but everybody in the world. So the Most High is setting them up to bring what? To usher in the end, man. The end, or let's say it like this, a new beginning. Like it says in 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. Who is Jacob? The 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So let's go back to Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Europe is going to hate America, starting to hate it right now. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they're going to send nuclear weapons over in America. Yeah, that's right. It said, for God have put in their hearts, I mean, he put in France, in Spain, in Germany, you know what I'm saying, in their hearts to fulfill his will, right? Armageddon. And to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. What great city is that? Hell, you've seen the Statue of Liberty, but it's talking about America. That's that great city. You understand? America reigneth upon all the kings of the earth. But a kingdom is fallen. Even a dollar is fallen. Let's get Jeremiah 50 and 45. Let me show you something real quick. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 45. Let me get it. Before I close out. One second. All right. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45, and it reads, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, right? That he have taken against Babylon. We know Babylon is America, aka the so-called white man still, right? And it says, in his purpose that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Land of the Chaldeans is talking about the high ones in America. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who's the least of the flock? We talking about the so-called Jewish man. That little small place that he's over there right now in, he's drawing everybody over there. Because he is the wicked of the wicked. Like, Esau is the wicked, right? But they got tribes just like Israel. But the head of Esau, they got many tribes. German, France, Spain, what else? Holland, Amsterdam, all these people, right? But the so-called Jewish man is the head top tribe of Edom. He drawing everybody out. I mean, he drawing everybody over there to the Middle East, man. Right? And it's verse 45 again. It says, hold on. Let me read it again. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. That's going to be in the last times, man, when those missiles start flying over into America, and when a Mashiach Yahushua lands in the nation of Israel, according to Isaiah 63, right? Land there with the sword. He's going to run through it. He's going to run through Idumea over there. So it behooves you not to be over there if you're an Israelite. But if your faith is strong, what can I tell you? But when a Mashiach Yahushua lands, he's landing in Israel, right? So-called Israel today. All right, let me get Zechariah 12 and verse 3. We got two more precepts. Well, yeah, Zechariah 12 verse 3. And the many prophets there. 1 second. Show you that it's talking about the so-called Jewish man that's in the land of Israel. That bastard, according to Zechariah 9 and 6, I believe it is. But, come on. Where you at, Zechariah? Okay. One moment. There we go. All right. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 3. Let me read. All right. And it reads, and in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, and that burdens themselves with it shall be cut into pieces, though all the people of the earth shall be gathered together against it. You see what I'm saying? Whoever's in Jerusalem right now, it's a burdensome stone. You got the Palestinians that's fighting for Jerusalem. You have the Ottoman Turks that fought for Jerusalem. You have the Romans that fought for Jerusalem. The Greeks, and so on and so forth. And since we've actually left the land, you know what I'm saying? Read Luke 21:20 down to 24. It tell you that we got kicked out of the land, right? And scattered into all nations. The so-called Negro. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about the Negro, the Jamaican, and the Haitian. We are the real Jews. But anyway, Jerusalem shall be a burdensome stone. What is that happening right now? It's a burdensome stone, man. Everybody's over there. Everybody's coming up against that little small nation, right? Yeah, the least of the flock shall draw them out. So I was going to go into Obadiah 1 and 1, but I'm going to wrap this class up. The signs of the time is that the Most High has set up over the kingdom the basis of man. Who is that? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a German. That's where he comes from, Germany, right? So is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is from South Africa, where the apartheid happened, where they tore down all the inhabitants, the indigenous people of the land, and stole land, right? He became a multi-billionaire with foolish thoughts, evil thoughts, wicked thoughts. The man doesn't even seem what they call it. They call him eccentric. I don't know what they call that. He's not a man. A man speaks clear and bold. He doesn't talk much. And when he does speak, he speaks where everyone can hear him and he makes his point. This dude's an idiot. He got his son running through the White House calling Donald Trump all types of names. And Donald Trump's an idiot. So you see how the Most High is doing what he's doing to America. Because once America falls, Israel falls. You got groups like the ACLU, the Southern Poverty Law Center. You got many of these Jewish, what they call them? I don't know. They call them something. They lobbyist groups. They lobby in Congress, and they get things done for their nation. But black man and black woman, you can't be a nation. You can't be nationalist. You're the only people in the world, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you cannot be nationalists. I need you to think about that. Everybody can be national. Chinese, oh, I'm Chinese. Spanish, oh, I'm Spanish. Hawaiian, oh, Hawaiian. Black, you just a fucking color, man. You're nothing more but a color. You're nothing more but a homeborn slave. But it's okay. This Bible right here, it was meant for you. And he got certain prophets and teachers on the planet teaching it. So this, I might do a part 2 to this. It's been a long time since I've actually taught a class. And actually I'm outside right now and it's very hot. I'm in Ghana, which is a lovely place. It has its pros and cons, but ultimately it's lovely. I don't have to experience racism here. But yeah, the signs of the time, man. So I would say this in conclusion of the class. Brothers and sisters who may watch this video, the first thing you got to do is not worry about too many prophecies. Prophecies, they're going to happen, you understand? Don't worry about the prophecies. They're going to come to pass. But the truth is you got to start working on yourself. The first war you're going to fight is within you, within here. You understand? That's a lot. And it could take years and years. And you may, to be honest, you'll never perfect it. So I'm going to say they perfect. Watch out. Watch out. Because I'm not going to tell you anybody's perfect. There have been people that lived that were perfect in the Bible. But I haven't ran into nobody in these times that's perfect. Not one. And I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes. But when we make a mistake, we got to fall back, examine ourselves, as the scriptures say, and then pick ourselves back up and continue to fight. He that endureth until the end shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And with that, I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Amashiach Yahushai. Shalom, shalom, shalom.